Hello everybody, in this video I have a scrapbook process to share with you for the Thompson's Craft Supplies design team. I am working with AB Studio Shabby Love Symphony papers, and if you haven't seen all the other stuff I got in my design team kit for February, then I will attempt to remember that video share. So for this layout I started with my photo and then was going through the papers to decide, which one to use, and I chose this one, which I've forgotten the name of. I actually turned it on its side because it was originally the other way around, like the flowers going on a different diagonal shape, and I preferred this way round, and it meant all the scripture writing in the background was also the right way up, so that's why I did that. And then I'm just adding a little bit of light mixed media in the background. I just sprayed some Distress Oxide spray in spun sugar, just really lightly, and now I am flicking on some what is it? I've forgotten. Fabrica Decoru chalk spray in blue shabby, because there are a few little blue elements in these papers, so just a little bit of that. I find that I love those sprays, don't get me wrong, but they don't splatter very well just using the nozzle, so I usually get a paintbrush to do splatters with those. It's maybe because they're quite a thick consistency or something, but anyway, that's why I was doing that. Then I am taking this impasto paint in Dusty Rose and using the stencil from my kit, which is, I think it's another AB Studio item. Oh, I might be wrong there. I can't remember, but all the correct information will be in the description box. Anyway, just stenciling on a few rose shapes onto there, and then for a little bit of sparkly glitterness, I sprinkled on some of the Prima glass glitter in Gold Rush just over that stenciling while it was still wet. Setting that aside to dry, I'm going to do a load of fussy cutting. There's 2 or 3 papers in this paper pack which are fussy cuttable, and I thought I went for this one because it had the more sort of easier to cut, more rounder shapes of leaves and flowers and stuff, so that's why I went for this one. And yeah, I'm just going to spend some time fussy cutting out a bunch of stuff there, and as if by magic it's all done. You can see it in a pile on the right there. I'm going to quickly back my photo. I pulled out a paper pad, one of those ones from The Works. It's their brand M&C boutique. I am just obsessed with those paper pads. They're so cheap, but they're so pretty. So I've just slapped my photo down, slap bang in the middle of one of those papers. I chose that pinky one just because it was a slightly brighter pink that was on the AB papers, so it would stand out just a little bit more. Ripped around the edges, and then also added another scrap. Where I'd ripped the edges on one side, it came so close to the photo that you couldn't really see the colour, so that's why I just added another little scrap behind that section, and I'm going to prop that up on some foam. If you noticed my foam, my craft foam, looked a little bit raggedy, it's because my cat loves to chew on craft foam, so like all my craft foam has little teeth marks in it. Don't freak out, he doesn't eat it, he just chews on it and spits it back out. It's a pain, but whatever. So with my photo down, I'm going to take all of those fussy cut pieces and go around the edges of them with Distress Oxide. All the flowers, I'm going to go around the edges with Victorian Velvet, and then all the leafy flourishy bits with Bundled Sage. It just helps, like when you fussy cut things and like you've got white edges and stuff, I find if you go around the edges with ink, it just kind of calms down those maybe sometimes quite harsh white edges. And if the thing is really fiddly to fussy cut and you don't want to do it really precisely, like with some of those leaf flourishes, if you just go over the top of that white bit with vaguely matching ink, then you can get away with the not so great fussy cutting, I find. So I'm gonna add all my fussy cut bits. I'm starting off with all the flowers, and most of them are going to get propped up on foam tape, and I'm just following that diagonal pattern of flowers that is already on the layout just to kind of enhance that shape. A few flowers are going on flat just so there's like different layers and different dimension and stuff. And then once I've got all the flowers down, I'm going to find out where I'm going to put all my leafy bits so they're all sort of sticking out, and just kind of doing it in a way that it's like a pretty chaotic mess of flowers. And most of them I'm not going to bother with the foam tape, so they kind of go over various layers, and I'm just whacking them down with some tacky glue. Now once all those are down, I also cut, you can see them in the bottom left there, I cut out 3 tags from one of the other fussy cutting sheets, and I was going to put them in and around the flowers, but I thought actually that's going to look too unnatural and too bulky and too uncomfortable, so I decided I would have them in the bottom corner like that and use them as a backing for a title, a very, very small title I will add, but just so the title isn't like floating or anything. And I'm going to go around those as well with the oxides in matching colours so that it's all nice and matchy, and also add some twine to those little tags, because I've said this a bajillion times before in my videos, but I always feel like a tag, it needs some twine or some string in it. I can't cope if it doesn't have it. I'm sure I've probably done a couple of layouts where I haven't done it, but anyways, for my title, I'm just going to pull out a small sticker and then a little sort of backing tag sticker from, I think it's the Maggie Holmes sticker book. These are really, really old now. They've been out for ages and mine is still going, and I have a spare, so expect to see it in videos for a long, long time to come. I chose the title that says Say Yes to New Adventures. It was in this nice green shade that was kind of the same tone as the green in the layout, not exactly the same shade, but it wasn't too much of a different harsh shade of green, if you know what I mean. But I chose that because this picture, there is one of my sisters, myself, and my mum and my dad. This was taken on my graduation day, my undergrad graduation, all the way back in 2015, and this was post ceremony. We had packed up my student house into my dad's car and just took a quick selfie before we went our separate ways, because my sister lived further north and we were going to go back down south. So it's just a really cute photo and I really like it, so that's why I went with that title, because it kind of works with the photo. Like, my graduation had finished and it was like next step and all that. But what I am doing here is I am taking some adhesive pearls and adhesive gems and just using those to fill in all those little gaps that have happened between all those fussy cut pieces, especially because they were like, some were on foam and some were not. It created a lot of little trap space gaps, so that's why you can't really see them at the moment, but I promise you they were there. And then I also used some Nuvo drops to fill up the really, really tiny spaces that I couldn't fit a pearl or a gem into. Those were Nuvo drops in duck egg blue. Then I'm going to go back to that chalk spray and just add a few more splatters, because I'd covered most of them up that I'd done at the beginning, so just around and on top slightly of the whole flower cluster thing. And then I actually decided I wanted some more Nuvo drops, like less ones filling up gaps and more there to just be pretty and be around the flowers. And those are metallic drops in shimmering rose. And once I've got all those down, I believe the layout is complete. So there we go. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I will leave links to Thompson's Craft Supplies as well as all their social media links. There will be a corresponding blog post if you want to see these pictures in more detail or anything like that. And there will be links, of course, in the description box to everything I used in this video. Right, that's enough from me. Thanks so much again. Bye-bye!